Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's Critical Misses. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpir.
Hello. I'm actually not listening to anything. I'm just jamming away at my own
That's
head.
right. We have fun here.
Mm-hmm.
This is our last movie of the Fast Saga. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, which we'll never call it that again.
Mm-hmm. Why did 9 have to get delayed? It would be such a good wrap up for this to have 9 right here at the end.
And it's unsurprising that they haven't just released it to home, like as like a home thing, because you know that thing's gonna do gangbusters in the theaters.
It's literally $1 billion franchise at this point.
Yeah. So yeah. Hobbs and Shaw. This is gonna be our last a little bit of programming housekeeping here. Next episode, we're going to do a ranking episode for us talking about specifically the ranking of all these films in the Fast Saga. We might not always do that in every season because some of our seasons are going to be shorter, like next season, which we'll talk about at the end of the ranking episode,
which we already have planned.
Yes, we do already have planned. We have a whole spreadsheet, and we have chosen next season's series, and at the end
while we're talking about that, if you have suggestions, feel free to send them in.
Please do
reach out to me or Boston, because we literally sat there and went through a whole bunch of stuff. We spent an hour one day just sitting here chatting, going through lists of
have you
games,
seen this
comics,
thing?
musics, TV shows, movies. Obviously it will it may or may not fit the remit of this show, but send them suggestions in. Just send them in.
And don't say Dragon Ball Z, because we don't know. No. I don't have 4 years to dedicate to it.
Go listen to All Systems Goku to get your Dragon Ball Z fix.
That's right.
Plus, we've both seen it 1 million times, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So we'll talk about our next series then, and then we're going to talk about a bonus movie at the end of next episode, which you can probably guess based on this, but we will talk about it probably at the end of this episode once we meet up next week. But with all that out of the way, we're going to talk about Hobbs and Shaw. I'm kind of excited to watch this after the relationship turn that the two of them took about halfway through the last movie. And there's this scene in Fate of the Furious where they're fixing the car and they're smiling at each other and ribbing each other, and they're now we're friends. So that turn kind of made me really excited to watch this, because I think I have a couple guesses and some expectations. I think my only real expectation is I want to see that sort of frenemy relationship continue, where it's we're working together and we kind of like each other, but I would still beat the crap out of you if you would give me just one chance. If you slip up, I'll just punch your face off.
Yeah. So this movie has guest stars.
Okay. I was sort of expecting that as well.
Wait until you see some of the names, especially considering this came out very recently and people who don't need to be in it are in it. I have a small, teeny tiny admission right here.
Okay.
I have only seen halfway through this movie.
Okay.
I have never seen this movie to its completion.
This is exciting.
Because I was watching it and I was probably in a bad state of mind at the time. I just wasn't feeling it. I got up to a point of the movie and then stopped before things went total off the charts towards the end. So basically, I have not seen any of the ending action sequences, because let's face it, I'm assuming there's going to be an ending action sequence in this thing.
Yeah, you were probably halfway through Act 2, so there's probably one large one and then one really big one at the end.
Yes, there is some things I know that happen in this movie because of the trailer that I have not seen, including some of those guest stars, which you will completely miss, and I know you will miss how big of a guest star some of these people are, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, because I'm a part of what I'm hoping / expecting about this movie is that, and again, I know nothing about it, I hope that they sort of turn the Fast Saga on its head a little bit, whereas like in the Fast Saga after 5, it's been the American government has a skunk's work projects for you, and it's sort of like, all right, let's help out, the red, white, and blue. I'm sort of hoping this one is like, hey, British guy, the Queen needs your help this time.
Okay.
On over to England.
It flip reverses it and brings it over to like MI5 needs help rather than the CIA kind of thing. Okay.
Right.
Interesting. Interesting. I will not say nothing, but obviously interesting.
That's sort of my hope.
Okay, so you don't know any of the actors in this movie at all, other than obviously the two.
Right, other than Hobbs and Shaw, yeah. I would hope it would be nice to see Helen Mirren again, because she was probably the cameo star of the last one. But I'm not sure how much she would be in it, if any. It would another like 2 or 3 minutes of Helen Mirren would be just enough again. We'd be like, it's my boys. All right. Speaking of, I hope the actor that plays Owen Shaw is back, because man, he's good.
He is. He's a good actor. Like, I've liked him in pretty much everything I've seen him in. Even as Dracula, he was incredible. He was Dracula in Dracula Untold, the reboot of the Dark Universe.
Oh, right. Oh, there's another one for our list.
Yeah, one movie.
Way down
Dark
there.
Universe.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to do some minor spoilers here.
Okay.
Minor spoilers. I'm going to say a name. He is not in it. Before you get excited. Because we are both super fans of Timothy Oliphant. Hashtag the sexiest man alive.
We are all fans. Yes.
Yes. He is not in it. However, the second most sexy man alive is in this movie. And I will not tell you who that is. Just know that he's in this movie. And he is
nice to know Jason Momoa is still getting work in 2019.
Dude, he is Aquaman. What are you talking about? Of course he's getting work.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But yes.
Okay. Interesting. And maybe that's the thing we'll have to keep a official critical misses list of the sexiest men in Hollywood here as we go on.
Timothy Oliphant, number 1. Always,
of course,
for all time.
The GOAT.
Especially when he went grey and all of a sudden became that much more dad hot.
Yeah.
Speaking on Father's Day, he is so dad hot.
That's right. Oh, man.
I would say like top 5 sexiest men alive is also in this movie.
Wow.
He's also sexy for his mouth. Spoiler alert.
Hashtag inappropriate. I don't know. I'm kind of...
You'll get these jokes when you watch the movie, trust me.
Okay.
And it's gonna be
I'll be
hilarious.
giggling to myself in bed like, he, Moon was right.
Yes.
I don't know. This one's kind of interesting because I feel like if ampersand, if Fast 4 didn't happen, then I feel like this would have been, apologize the pun, the fate of the Fast Saga movies would have sort of been these continual one-offs. So it'd be like, oh, here's these 2 agents that are working together. It just happens to be The Rock and Jason Statham. It's like, okay,
it would have got progressively more racist as it went along as well, from like Tokyo Drift, Arabian Nights, Miami Summer, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like, ooh, boy, they're still making these. Okay. Yikes. Yeah, so that's sort of the harder part for me is I think when you look at the traditional mainline Fast Saga movies, I think it's really easy to start seeing like, all right, so in Fast 9, we'll probably see Cypher and the return of X, Y, and Z, and this story will sort of have some more through lines, like they sort of do, like the first act deals with the last movie's fallout, and then the acts 2 and 3 progress the storyline. And that's what's difficult to predict Hobbs and Shaw as a movie, and sort of makes it exciting where it's like, all right, if we remove ourselves from the Fast Saga restraints admittedly, there are very few. What do we come up with when you kind of make a larger spin-off like this? And that's exciting.
Yeah. I'm looking forward / not looking forward to the end of this movie because I know a little bit about it. But I mean, it's one of those movies where I think if we think the previous couple of Fast movies have been quote unquote popcorn movies. I think this is 100% a popcorn movie.
Oh, yeah, like this isn't even going to pretend to be anything more than just like, hey, let's go blow everything up. And it's like, all right, sold.
Question, cool tech, yay or nay? And any predictions on the cool tech?
I feel like if they go to England, they have to have cool tech because like
they'll have like a transforming bus or something.
Yeah, and I feel like they'll have like a briefcase with a gun in it or something. Like I feel like they'll want to at least
cue it.
Yeah, they're gonna like wink and nod cue it, where it's sort of like, oh, we're in England, when in Rome, wink, that sort of thing. But I don't know. I feel like the series has gotten so much more into hacking as it's been going on. So like, I feel like there has to be a hacker versus hacker scene now because apparently that's been like the last 3 movies. Yeah, I don't know. That's sort of the tough and exciting part is like I genuinely don't know where this is gonna go, but I like The Rock as an actor. I don't know much about him personally, and I like Jason Statham as an action movie guy. Also don't know much about him personally. So I sort of hope that the friction between Vin Diesel and The Rock in the main series sort of has these 2 movie franchises going at the same time, where the Fast Saga can kind of continue without The Rock and just write him out completely. And then I'd kind of like to see this buddy cop movie series continue with Hobbs and Shaw to just be on like, they're going around the world solving problems. This guy's just run through walls. This guy's like a ninja. All right, let's do it. Like that's kind of my hope, not having seen the movie. But
well, if memory serves, this did make a boatload of money. Like, because it had the Fast and Furious movie on it.
Right.
It is worth noting that certain members of the Fast and Furious family denounced this movie when it was announced. When the trailer came out, they were like, nope, not a Fast and Furious movie. Get thee away from me, Satan.
Right. Don't worry, it's just Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Like it's like, all right, I get what you're doing.
Contractual obligations.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, I understand how marketing works.
Budget of 200 million, cumulative worldwide gross of 759 million.
That's pretty good. That's also seems like a pretty cheap budget for a larger movie, especially like a Fast Saga, a Fast Saga-esque movie. Yeah. All right. Well, should we go watch the movie?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
We have watched the movie. We have returned, cough, cough, a week late. That's my fault. To talk about Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. My new subtitle for this movie is now with 200% more swearing.
Yep. 200% is correct, yes.
Yeah, obviously not a thing that I have a problem with in movies. It's just sort of like, wow, you guys went all the way for it. And they have a really fun way around. There's always that, I don't know how true it is. There's always that thing about like every PG-13 movie is allowed one F-bomb.
One F-word, yeah.
And I like that they get around both of them saying it by both of them saying it at the same time. That's pretty good.
Yep.
I was expecting something different out of the beginning of this movie. I was expecting like rolling or something like, like a Fast and Furious. It opens with time in a bottle. Like just this acoustic like, hey man, what if I had time in a bottle? It's like, okay. So probably a bit of a different film here.
Yeah, the musical choices are definitely more varied than the new metal / hip hop that we've had from the previous Fast movies.
Three of those tracks laid on top of each other all at once. That's the Fast series I know. This movie starts off on a bang with Idris Elba and his smart motorcycle that can drive itself.
Yep.
That's dope.
As I mentioned previously on the last episode, the first part of this episode, I should say. Second sexiest man alive, Idris Elba, is in this movie.
Yeah, prepare for critical Mrs. : horny on main on this episode, apparently. Yes, Idris Elba, total smoke show. 2 thumbs up. Keep doing it, Idris Elba. Starts off with kind of a great quasi heist where they're stealing something, gets injected into the hand, and then gotta go.
Yep, and then the lady buggies, and then we get the I'm what you call a champagne problem.
Right. That's a good line.
No, it's not. No, it's not. There are no good lines in this movie.
That's fair. There are no good lines in this movie. There are only good moments.
Yes.
And Jason Statham. I did like the beginning of this movie where Hobbs is eating in the cafe or the diner with his daughter.
Cheat day?
Yeah, cheat day. I do like when you get to see Hobbs without his professional persona. You know, it's not the fast talking. It's just like, yeah, here's this dude. Dad. Yeah, he's just being a dad. Like, it's kind of nice seeing him have those walls down a little bit.
And who walks into this scene?
Ryan Reynolds, who is an actor. I have to say, probably about 80% of the time I really like. This is the other 20%.
Oh, you didn't like this version?
My problem is, I think Ryan Reynolds, when he's playing this character, is really good in really small doses. A line or two, a throwaway joke, and then get him out of the scene. Like some of the stuff he's doing later in the movie where like it smash cuts back to him in the diner alone. He's like, I think they're closed. Great. Moving on. Like I think that's a great scene. I like him having the tattoo. I thought that was really good. But like, I think his part here just goes on a little bit too long. And also, I know that this series is like suspension of disbelief personified, but I find it really hard to swallow that he's like a federal agent. And like, really? I know I'm not supposed to.
All of the other federal agents that you've seen in this series, and you think he's the problematic one.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's just your Ryan Reynolds. What's that word I'm thinking of? Bias coming in.
Yeah.
So, out of curiosity, did you see the Deadpool movies?
No, because I don't like Deadpool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number one, you should really watch the Deadpool movies because I am not a fan of Deadpool. I don't like him in the comics. I don't like his whole shtick.
Right.
Those movies are incredible movies.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds is born to play that character, so if I like him,
he's done it 3 times now.
Right. Well, let's not talk about the first one, Jakes. But we see a little bit of Helen Mirren again.
She's back, just like you got your wish.
Yeah, thankfully reprising her role as just like the most ill-behaved prisoner ever. There's a really good line of like, when do you get out? And she says 2.5 for good behavior. And he says, so when do you get out? And she goes, 4.
Yep.
I was like, yep.
That's I love the fact that they bring her in full like ankle and wrist chains. Yep. And Jason Statham's like, is that really necessary? The prisoner will get better treatment when the prisoner shows that she can behave herself.
Right. And then she escapes from them over their conversation. The big thing you find out here is that the Shaws have a sister, which is apparently the theme of this movie being, unknown relatives.
Yep.
I have to say, the thing that surprised me and impressed me the most about kind of the first half of this movie is between we didn't even talk about like the side-by-side stuff they did in the intro, which was largely fine. But the tattoo parlor that Hobbs goes to, and when Shaw goes to Hattie's apartment, The lighting in both of those is really impressive. Like a bunch of stuff that these movies are typically like, oh, we're in a different country. Here's a sepia tone. We're back in LA. Everything looks pretty fine and well lit, except for like nighttime race scenes, of course. But I like that there's a little bit of different like lighting direction in this, and I kind of appreciate that. What do we have? I just have written here, drifting under two 18-wheelers, ! Then Idris Elba slides under them. As I have said this whole series, I will never get tired of drifting under 18-wheelers. Then you do it for two of them twice. Love it. 4 times the goodness.
So you know, by the way, the director of this movie was one of the team of directors who did John Wick.
Ah, there we go.
Also, Atomic Blonde. Which, if you haven't seen that, that's a really good movie too.
Yeah, not yet, but I know that a lot of like the lighting and camera choices in those are kind of maybe bolder than normal action movies.
Also, Deadpool 2.
Ah, there you go. Tying it all up. I don't, to be honest, I don't have a super ton of notes about this movie, mostly because it's kind of just an action movie with a lot less racing than a lot of the other movies, which is fine and makes sense because it's sort of a spin-off thing. But like, there's large swaths of this movie where it's sort of like, yeah, they're doing action stuff. Like the government is looking for them because there's Idris Elba controls the media across the world. It's like, okay, sure. Why not? Let's do that.
How quickly did you put it together, by the way, that Hattie was the blonde lady from the beginning was
pretty
sister?
Pretty quickly. I mean,
as soon as Helen Mirren says, "If you talk to your sister," it's like, "Oh, gee, I wonder who that's going to be."
Oh, it's the attractive blonde lady. Weird. I wrote here that Statham has a really good Italian joke reference.
The Italian Job reference.
Yeah, the Italian Job reference. It's an Italian joke. The Italian Job reference, which is I thought really good, because I had totally forgotten he was in that movie because I unfortunately haven't seen it for a while.
Along with Charlize Theron, by the way.
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
and also they throw in. It's funny because I believe they throw in 2 Italian Job references in that sequence, which is the Jason Statham's garage sequence. They throw in that reference where he has the Mini Cooper and references the old movie. He also says, "You weren't allowed on that job because we didn't need a weightlifting bus driver."
Okay.
Which is a reference to the original Italian Job movie from like the 60s.
Wow. Okay. I didn't catch that one. Interesting.
That's a double Italian Job reference right there. Also, fun fact, Charlize Theron is in the Italian Job remake.
Right. That's a good movie. Man.
It's better than people give it credit for. I'll say that much.
It's a good action movie. Like, it's solid. I wrote here, airplane scene was a little too long.
Yeah, honestly... Okay, so I have issues with this movie. I think, spoiler alert, all told, it is a perfectly fine piece of, like, popcorn cinema. It's
100%.
Fine. It's not something truly special. It's not something incredible. It's fine.
It's not a guilty pleasure. It's just, it's a solid popcorn movie.
And my biggest issue with this is, specifically, it's the relationship between Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
They are just too alpha male at every moment they can possibly be. And the airplane sequence is a perfectly good example of that, of them just trying to out alpha male each other in their own alpha male styles. And then, oh boy, Kevin Hart is there.
Yeah, and Kevin Hart Kevin Hart is funny enough. I'm not like the world's biggest fan of his, but he's fine. You don't give that dude that much screen time in this movie. Like it's not that interesting of a scene, and he doesn't really save it overall. But yeah, I think one of the weird things about this movie is I feel like the relationship between the two of them was left in a better spot after Fast 7?
Fate.
Okay. Yeah, like where they sort of
they had they had an understanding about each other at that point.
They had their traitor moment.
Yeah, and then in this moment, it's like rewind the dial a little bit and let's put it back to the middle of that movie. It's like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I really liked the Etienne infiltration, that whole scene. Again, like everything with this movie, a touch long, but I kind of liked the whole getting in. I liked Hattie like running across the pods at the top. I liked the interrogation scene was actually pretty good, even though it was fairly brutal.
The electric shocks scene.
Yeah, just like them not being able to stop running their mouths long enough to stop getting murdered. Is pretty great. But I think the thing that I liked the most was the end of this, the like split second part where they're fighting on top of a truck. The three of them are fighting on top of a truck while a smokestack is coming down. I thought that was pretty good. I like a lot of the hand-to-hand fighting in this movie, largely because Idris Elba's character is just working the other two dudes.
100%. I love Idris Elba in this because he literally says at the start, "I am Black Superman."
Yeah.
And then they reference that several times. And he's like, he really is Black Superman.
Yeah, I guess he is Black Superman. Wow.
Which, fun fact, he improv that line because it was actually written as "I am Black Bond." And because at the moment there is a question mark over who the next James Bond will be.
Right, everyone wants Idris Elba.
He didn't want to say that to potentially ruin his chances at being the next James Bond.
Black Superman is a better line anyway.
I agree. 100%.
So this starts like the longest third act, I think, in this franchise.
Can we just agree that right there, get the machine, get out of there, get the stuff out of here, that's a good end of moment. That's a good 90-minute runtime for an action movie, and you can be done and out, and that would be perfectly satisfying.
It doesn't need to be 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Jesus, so
I think there's some fun stuff in this ending, but I
agree. There is definitely some fun stuff, and I like where they go, even if I don't like what they do there.
Yeah. Like Mama is great.
Yes, which, for the record, if you haven't seen this movie, they go to the Isle of Samoa, and they meet the Rock's family, which, did you catch professional wrestler Roman Reigns in this family scene, by the way?
No, is that his brother?
It's not his brother. Roman Reigns is one of the backgrounds. He's actually his nephew in real life.
Wow.
He plays one of his brothers in this. It's not the main brother, but it's one of the brothers in the background.
I had heard at some point that Roman Reigns was in this. I was sort of hoping it was his brother, because his brother was maybe not the best actor in the movie.
How dare you? No, do you remember the bit where he like tilts his head back and goes, "Ooh, wah," and like screams? That's Roman Reigns.
Oh, okay.
It's the guy standing right next to The Rock, and that happens. And don't you ever insult Cliff Curtis again.
Was it? Are you a Cliff Curtis fan club?
I am. He's not in good movies, but all the movies he's in, he's fantastic in. Like, he's in The Meg. He's in, which, by the way, if you want a really good bad movie, The Meg, another Jason Statham classic, by the way, folks.
Perfect. I gotta watch it.
It is a fantastic movie. He's in Sunshine. He's fantastic he's the guy in Sunshine who likes getting sits in the sunroom and like just lets the sun burn his skin over and over and over again. Like, he's a pretty solid actor. Not in good stuff, but a pretty solid actor.
I think the rest of this movie is fine. I like the reveal shot of Mama having sold all the guns, and there's just all of these like old school weapons there. I think that's a good shot. I think there's a couple of really good moments in I'm calling it the Return to Jedi trap scenes, because it's a lot of like, take what the Ewoks did in Return of the Jedi, and instead of it being like a log with stakes on it, just put an 18-wheeler. So it's like, hit the stake, and an 18-wheeler just like swings out and knocks a bunch of cars over.
Yes, this is missing a bit of good ludicrous, I would say. This scene.
I think the helicopter lasso scene was especially ridiculous in a way that I like. It's sort of that's like the most Fast and Furious scene where it's like, I can't hold it down, and then it's just 4 cars all shooting Nas at the same time.
No, it's not Nas. It's not Nas. They don't say Nas.
That's true.
They say homebrew.
Yes.
Which is or
and they,
whatever.
They say, hit the moonshine.
That's the one.
Yeah. It's just so tough.
Like this I will say again, I don't hate this movie. Like I said, I think I said it in part 1. I have seen the first half of this movie. I literally saw the start up to the start of the infiltration sequence, specifically the 2 rooms sequence. Right. Which I think is pretty hilarious, by the way.
Pretty good.
I saw up to that and then stopped. And I knew that what was coming at the end because I knew, as a wrestling fan, I knew that Roman Reigns was in this, and I knew that Roman Reigns basically does nothing in this as well.
Right.
But it's so long, dude.
Yeah, the only note I have here about the ending is that the movie did it about 30 times, but I did not get sick of someone punching someone else in slow motion and the water flying off of them. I think that's super dope.
Waterfall fight sequence.
Yeah, and like I liked the voice on the like Idris Elba's boss,
the director.
The director, that's right. I liked the like vocal effects they put on that. My last 2 notes here are mid-credits thing. Locke finally stabs a guy with a brick, which I thought was an okay scene. And then the post-credits prank war scene, like the beginning of the prank war, I thought was actually really good.
Him calling the cops on Statham.
Right. And like, I agree with you. I think this movie is fine. Often it feels a lot like a contractual obligation film where it's sort of like, yeah, we're going to do this thing elsewhere that seems to have no real impact on really anything else. But I almost want to see, we'll probably never get it, but I almost want to see a second one that's just the prank war back and forth. Like it's just 90 straight minutes of prank wars escalating until like
Hobbs and Shaw,
they both have rocket launchers. Yeah, like it just, yeah. Hobbs and Shaw is fine. I kind of wish Fast 9 was out now so we could sort of finish season 1 on what I would assume would be a higher note. Because Hobbs and Shaw
I'm assuming so because Han comes back.
Right. I mean, Hobbs and Shaw is it's good. It is a solid, but I think it's more like what we've been charting on the Fast Saga throughout this entire season has largely been the metamorphosis of the franchise from Point Break with cars to action movie with cars, especially the last couple of movies. As we've talked about, you can sort of see the equivalent of here's how you would shoot it with real people, but we're going to shoot it with cars. And you don't get that in this movie. It's very much, this is a shoot 'em up, punch 'em up sort of popcorn movie by itself with a little bit of Fast and Furious stuff in the third act. And that's kind of about it.
The big thing for me is like one of the reasons why the Fast and Furious franchise has endeared itself to me personally is because it takes itself hyper seriously and then it gives you, the audience, a wink and a nod. But in universe, it's taken hyper seriously. Right. Whereas Hobbs and Shaw feels like it knows 100% that this is all stupid and it just holds up a sign saying, isn't this stupid? Find this entertaining the whole way through. Yeah. Like there's only 1 or 2 serious moments in it, and that's the talk about reuniting with the family kind of thing that Hattie and The Rock have towards the final part of the movie.
Good scene.
It's a good scene, but it's like, where was that 2.5 hours ago when the movie felt like it'd begun?
Right.
You know, but
even like the serious moment of like, hey, should we kill Hattie? Is sort of like, it's half joking. It's like, that's not maybe like, not the right time.
in the base, in the machine, about to get everything extracted, and then literally does that whole kills two guys with their own knives using only her feet. And the scientist dude says, that's not possible. And she does like a little, really? Kind of look.
Wink.
Just to the side of the camera. Not into camera, but just to the side of the camera. And you're just like, really?
Yeah, you just did that. Yeah.
Like, you did. If it didn't have the line, that's not possible. That would be a Fast and the Furious section for me. Like that's a good Fast and Furious moment. But the fact that they throw in the "that's not possible" line just makes me think, you know that this is stupid, and you just keep throwing it in our face.
That's right.
I don't need to be told this is stupid. I'm watching it.
I'm watching a Fast and Furious movie. Like, I know it's some on the spectrum of stupidity. Like, I get it, but you don't have to like wink and look at the camera and be like, eh?
Yeah, which is not something that the Fast movies ever do. I mean, Fast 5 has literally got a moment where Vin Diesel starts talking about two precision drivers.
That's right.
And they are taking it so seriously, and it's so dumb, but they take it seriously. Like, that's the important thing, is they believe in themselves, whereas this is very much a case of, do you like this? Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Wasn't that cool? Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
Right. Yeah. All right, so that's Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, and that's the end of season 1 here. So next episode, we're gonna do sort of an ending episode here for season 1. We might not do this for future seasons. This is sort of a special one because it's so long. We're going to have a shorter season next season. We probably won't do it then, but some of the longer ones might need.
Come on, we'll do it. It'll just be at the end of the last movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's going to be the difference.
Yeah. So next episode, we're going to wrap up season 1, sort of talk about what we thought of the whole franchise, and rank our the movies respectively. Then we're going to announce what season 2 is. Season 2 is going to be a bit of a shorter one, which is much appreciated after 9 movies. And then we're going to watch a bonus movie at the end of that episode. We're not going to do like a pre-movie and post-movie. We're just going to talk about after we watch it. We're going to watch the unofficial Han origin story, Better Luck Tomorrow. And I have heard pretty good things about this, so I'm pretty excited to at least check out what it is. But we're going to talk about that at the end of next episode. So if you're watching along with us at home, go check that out before the next episode airs. And I think that's it for Hobbs and Shaw. So we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.